Hello there, it's Jessica with Beta Virtual Assistants, and I'm here because it is Tuesday, and that means it is our time for crypto tax tips. We always love to come and talk about taxes and cryptocurrencies and what things we can learn about them. And I thought today that I would talk about cryptocurrency loans because I have a client I'm working on right now, and they have some cryptocurrency loans that we need to account for. So, did you know that you can borrow using your cryptocurrency as collateral? So what that means is you deposit your cryptocurrency into an account and they give you some other cryptocurrency or some money to trade and do things with. I've seen people do them for like house loans and usually because they want to go trade in another platform. There's a couple things to think about this. So if you buy and you sell your crypto, okay, so there was a guru a while back who was teaching people that one way to keep your long-term value of your crypto intact is to use the crypto that you would sell. So say you have an investment opportunity come up and you would sell it, but if you sell it, you have to pay taxes on that crypto that you had. And maybe you bought that Bitcoin and say it was like $1,000 and now it's worth $30,000. And so if you sell that Bitcoin to get the $30,000 for the investment opportunity, you would have to pay taxes on all of that. Now they would be probably long-term, depending how you set up your tax method. But in any case, if you borrow against it instead, what happens is you can put that money as collateral for a loan and take out like, maybe 50%, probably not more than that. I think he was saying maybe 30 to 50% or something like that. So you get 30 to 50% in funds, and then you can use those funds to trade with. And in this way, those funds are not taxable to you. They are like you're borrowing money to use it, and then you're going to pay it back. Any gains that you make or losses with the funds that you invest will need to be reported on your taxes. But one of the things that we make sure with our clients is that your tax software actually has the correct categories for the transactions that are coming in and out. So one of the things I'm working on this week with the client that I'm working on is they have crypto showing up in their account that doesn't have a place that it came from. And I say, oh, hey, where'd this crypto come from? And they go, oh, I borrowed funds from so-and-so, and then I need to pay them back. So we need to make sure that that crypto that's coming in isn't labeled as, number one, just a deposit, because if you label something as just a deposit in the crypto tax software, then the crypto tax software assumes the worst and assumes it's a gift or something. It has no cost basis, and anything you sell from that is going to have 100% gains, and that's not what we want. So we want it to come in as income that's not taxable, as proceeds from a loan. And then when it's paid back, we need to make sure that the crypto doesn't just disappear off of your account. So then we need to label that as an expense so that the correct amounts are figured for gains and losses and all that stuff. But the income that you received, it's not income. The funds that you received from the crypto loan are not recorded as income or anything like that. And when you pay it back, there's no tax consequences there either. So, wow, there is a lot of viewers watching me today, which is kind of amazing. So hi there. If you have a question about any of this, I am trying to keep an eye on the chat. So have a question about crypto loans, definitely let me know. So this is how we help people with keeping their taxes clean and making sure that all the transactions are correct. And really, I think that is pretty much it for crypto loans. We do have a lot of clients who would borrow money and then deposit it into something and then get it back and all this stuff. So we have definitely experienced some of that, and wow, I'm really impressed. Hello everybody who's watching, this is great. Have any questions about crypto taxes, go ahead and let me know. Crypto loans can be really risky because a lot of our friends who got into crypto loans during the market, so we got into crypto really heavily in September 2021 when the market was going pretty much straight up. And at that point, it was really easy to think that you were going to make lots of money, and so you took out a loan and the collateral was like all good and everything. But when the market fell in January of 2022, it started falling, and that is when everyone's loans got called in. And so when the ratio of your collateral to your loan balance gets out of whack, then the crypto loan provider has the right to liquidate some of your assets in order to provide the collateral or pay off some of the loan. so that you don't have so much borrowed against a declining collateral. And that can be really painful. I met with someone who came and talked to me, and she had just a really bad experience taking out way too much money in crypto loans, and then the loan got called in. And of course, the other problem with having your loan called in is that usually the market has gone down, and that means you're going to sell the crypto at a loss. Now, if you've had that crypto for a while and it's already appreciated in value, it's like going back to my original example of like if you bought Bitcoin for $1,000 and you borrowed against it when it's $30,000. Well, say you borrowed against it when it was $60,000, but now it's $30,000. So your Bitcoin gets liquidated to pay off some of the loan. And that means you have to pay taxes on that gain because you went from 1,000 to 30,000 at a time in the market when it's not very happy and where you are probably going to have problems. So this not a great, not terribly exciting and wonderful. And I'm still very distracted because there's actually people watching today, or at least Facebook thinks they are. So hey there. So if you're going to take out a loan with your crypto, you do have to be really careful because it is really volatile and things could change. And I suppose you could mitigate some of that if you use like a stable coin that hopefully is going to be around for the long term, and you could deposit that stable coin in as the collateral, and hopefully it wouldn't change in value, and hopefully your loan wouldn't get called in and all that sort of thing. But that doesn't, if you're doing the loan because of that strategy where you're borrowing against an asset that is appreciated because you don't want to sell it and realize taxes and all that stuff, then doing it with a stablecoin doesn't really make sense, because a stablecoin doesn't change in value. It just kind of maintains its value most of the time, we hope. So in that case, you might as well just use the stablecoin, I think, instead of borrowing against it. Yeah. Very interesting strategy. I myself have not done any loans, but like I said, we do work with a lot of people who have and who do need their taxes cleaned up afterwards. And if that's you, we love answering questions and we love being here. So if you have any questions, you can always message us. We are here on Tuesdays and Thursdays talking about crypto taxes and all the things that go into it and how it might be complicated or not. We do have a new mini course out, which there's a link in the comments if you want to claim it. It is free if you use it within 3 days, but if you don't use it, it kicks you out. So be aware of that. It just kind of helps you answer the question, how complicated are my taxes based on my understanding of my situation? And do I need further help, or am I going to be okay? So if that's something you'd be interested in, definitely check out the link in the comments. And I'm really impressed to see so many people here. It's great. If you do have questions, I don't see any in the chat, so I am getting ready to sign off. But if you have a question, message quick and I might catch it. Otherwise, we are here Tuesdays and Thursdays talking about crypto taxes. I think I said that. And we always love hearing from you and answering questions directly if that's a better avenue for you. So, with that said, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again on Thursday.